The thing is that a lot of these like daycare centers or child care centers or in-home care places, they will always have at least one bad person working there who either like doesn't like kids for real and maybe they're just working there for the money, or a family member got them that job, or like whatever the case may be. There's always one person working there who is truly like evil, or like, treats random kids as if they were her own, because like how parents like to discipline their kids their own ways or whatever. So some of these daycare people be treating the kids as if they're their own kids in a bad way. Okay, like me personally, like when I'm taking care of kids, I see every kid as my child. Like I take care of the kid as if I would my own kid, and I discipline them and blah blah blah, right? But other people do it in the negative way, to whereas like they're strict at home with their own kids, or they like, give like little spankings, or like, a pop on the wrist and blah blah blah, especially if they're like part of the older generation or whatever. And then they basically bring those values to the daycare with them, and then they start giving like, the kids like little pops on the butt, or like if they do something wrong, or like blah blah blah, right? Which is clearly like, technically shouldn't be putting your hand on a kid that's not yours. But yeah, a lot of these kids, a lot of these places be having workers who are terrible, and they don't really care. Because the place that I was working at, like they had people who would basically just sit on their ass all day, or they would call the kids like, slow, or like just yell at the kids to where the kids were like literally afraid to go into that classroom. Or even if like one of the baby's bottles would fall on the ground, they would like pick it right up and give it to the baby instead of washing it off. Or I even had like this mom was telling me where she would pick up her baby and the baby would always have bruises on his forehead and stuff like that. So I'm thinking like, damn, why are y'all letting people like this work here? Like there's even cases where like they left the kid outside and didn't even realize it, or like it's just like crazy incidences. And the whole time I was working there, I'm like, this place should be closed down. So whenever parents would ask me like, oh, what's been going on, like are all these kids really sick, or like what's happening, blah blah blah, I would literally be like, yeah, like, all this stuff is happening. Management is trash. Don't send your kid here. I personally wouldn't send my kids there. Blah blah blah. So it's like that type of situation where the management, they probably know that these people like mistreat the kids, or like are just bad caregivers or whatever. But management is not going to fire somebody who's been in the company for like, the past 10 years. It's easier to just like wait till the kid moves out of the classroom or whatever, because then they don't have to deal with the parent anymore. So it's like these managers in like corporate or whatever, they be knowing that the places are horrible, but it's just easier for people to leave the place or whatever. Like, when the kid ends up going to kindergarten or like whatever, it's easier just to wait it out, I guess, instead of just keep rehiring new managers, because then you would have to train them on the policies and blah blah blah, right? So it's really shitty. But yeah, after working at a place like that, like I definitely do not want to send my kid to a place unless I know somebody who works there, and then they're able to like verify like, is this a good place or not, like who the good teachers are or whatever.